All right, welcome in everybody to the deep dive. Today, we're going to get into something pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
It's this whole idea of digital faith. Like, how is AI, artificial intelligence,
Yeah.
becoming a part of spirituality for people? I mean, it's really kind of a new thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so much to unpack there. We've been looking at some really interesting discussions around
Right.
what are being called religious GPTs
Okay.
and, just more broadly, this trend of using AI for religion and spirituality.
Mm.
And I think it raises a really core question
Right.
for everyone listening, which is, when you see AI being used in this way, right,
Mm.
for spiritual guidance, is that a genuine connection?
Right.
Or is it more like just a very good simulation?
Yeah, I mean, so we've got these religious GPTs. What are they? Like, tell me more about that.
So basically, think of them as chatbots.
Okay.
But instead of being trained on the whole internet and everything
Yeah.
out there, they're specifically trained on huge amounts of religious texts,
Whoa.
like the Bible, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita. So you can actually go to these things. You can ask them questions, and they'll give you answers based on those writings.
Huh.
Like sites like autogpt.net are talking about this. It's almost like having a direct digital line to these sacred texts.
So, I mean, if I'm someone who is maybe struggling with a specific passage or something,
Yeah,
I could go to one of these AIs and ask.
that's the idea.
Yeah. The main idea seems to be that this is a way to offer spiritual support,
Okay.
especially for people who might be feeling lonely, or maybe they have some doubts, or they're wrestling with questions of identity. And I think the thinking is they're not meant to replace religious leaders or communities,
Oh, okay.
but they can be a kind of always-on source of comfort and guidance.
That makes a lot of sense in our digital lives.
Wrong one?
It makes me think of, other ways that people form connections with AI.
Yeah.
Like, apps like Replica, where you can...
Kind of have a digital friend or a digital companion. How does that
Right.
tie into this whole thing?
So that's a really key connection, actually.
Yeah.
Because, as the article in Time.com was talking about,
Right.
people can form really strong emotional bonds with AI.
Right.
And it's that desire for constant reassurance, for something that feels like, absolute comfort or even like divine wisdom, that can lead people to start seeing these AI systems as if they're almost like personal entities, like they really understand them on this deep level.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that sets a really interesting precedent for accepting AI in a much more intimate role
Yeah.
in our lives.
It's like we're wired to seek those connections, and if AI is offering it, maybe we just go for it.
Exactly. Yeah. And it makes you think about how people are engaging with religion
Right.
more broadly. I mean,
Okay.
we're seeing more and more people, especially it seems like younger generations,
Okay.
turning to AI, not just for information,
Right.
but for answers to those big existential questions, like, the meaning of life, purpose, all that kind of stuff. And traditionally, those were questions that people would bring to religious institutions.
Right.
And it seems like there's a bit of a shift happening there.
Yeah.
And our sources suggest that this shift is not just driven by like technological curiosity. It also might be a reflection of people questioning or reevaluating those traditional structures
Right.
of religion.
So, I mean, do you think it's about access then, or is it about just having a non-judgmental like interaction?
It could be both, right? I
Yeah.
mean, the AI is always there. It seems unbiased.
Yeah.
It's drawing from these texts that hold so much meaning for people.
Right.
So yeah, it's a very different way to engage.
Okay. So we've got these religious GPTs that can give us, these answers from scripture. We know that people can form these bonds with AI, and we're seeing this potential shift in how people think about spirituality.
Exactly. And I think when you zoom out and look at the bigger picture here, it really makes you think about what faith itself
Yeah.
means in this world that's changing so rapidly.
Which is, kind of that question that we're posing to everyone listening.
Right.
Are these digital tools, are they really opening up new ways to connect with ancient wisdom
Right.
and find spiritual meaning
Yeah.
in our very modern lives?
Or, and this is the other side of the coin, right?
Right.
Are they creating really, really convincing simulations
Okay.
of presence and understanding that could actually change
Yeah.
how we define faith and spirituality in the digital age?
Yeah.
It's something worth thinking about for sure.
Definitely. All right. Well, that's all the time we have for the deep dive today. Thanks, everybody, for listening.
Thank you.